Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaridhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaridhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaridhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Lamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Ki Jai. Krishna is the lover of Radha. He displays many amorous pastimes in the groves of Vrindavan. He is the lover of the cowherd maidens of Raj, the holder of the great hill named Govardhan, the beloved son of Mother Jasoda, and the delighter of the inhabitants of Raj. He wanders in the forest along the banks of the river Jamuna. Please repeat. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Please repeat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayan. Unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human beings. Unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning. And unto Sri Vyasadeva, the author. Shrinvatam Svakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridyantaha Stoya Bhadrani Verunoti Saritsatam. Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee, who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted.
itself virtuous and properly heard and chanted.
Nasta Preshu Badreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by the rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. And loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental song, is established as an irrevocable fact. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Read from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, Part 1. This is Chapter 2, text number 23. Please repeat. Aho, Baki, Yam, Stana, Kala, Kutam. Aho, Baki, Yam, Stana, Kala, Kutam. Jigham, Shaya, Payayad. One more word. Api, Asadi, Jigham, Sayapa, Yayad, Ayasadi, Libe, Yatim, Datri, Uchitam, Tato, Anyam, Libe, Yatim, Dat, Ya, Uchitam, Tato, Anyam, Kam, Va, Dalayum, Sharanam, Vrajema, Kam, Va, Dayalum, Sharanam, Vrajema. Anybody want to go ahead and try that?
Aho Bhakiyam Sthana Kalakutam. Bhakiyam Sthana Kalakutam. Jigam Sayapayaya Sasadvi. Jigam Sayapayaya Sasadvi. Vibhegatim Datri Datva Vichitam Tato Anye. Kamvadayalam Saranam Vrajena. Aho Bhakiyam Stanakalakutam. Jigam Shayapayayat Api Asadvi. Vivekatim Datri Uchitam Tatonyam. Kamvadayalum Saranam Vrajena.
Aho Bhakiyam Stanakalakutam.
Bhakiyam Stanakalakutam.
Jigam Sayapayayadapi Asadvi.
Jigam Sayapayayat Gating Galatrim Chantatonyam
Kamba Dayalum Saranam Prijayana
Kamba Dayalum Saranam Prajena.
Please repeat. Aho. Alas.
Alas,
Aki.
Aki,
The she demon Putana.
the she demon Putana,
Yam.
Yam,
Whom.
whom,
Stana.
Sana,
Of her breast.
of her,
Kala.
Kala,
Deadly.
Devi,
Kutam.
Kutam,
Poison.
poison,
Jigham Saya.
Jigam Saya
Out of envy.
Avendy,
Apayayat.
Apayana
Nourish.
nourish,
Api.
Api,
Although.
although,
Asabi.
Asabi
Unfaithful.
unfaithful,
Libe.
Libe
Achieve.
achieve,
Gatim.
Gatim
Destination.
destination,
Datri Uchitam.
Ujjanam
Just suitable for the nurse.
just suitable for the nurse,
Tataha.
Tataha
Beyond whom.
Yam,
Anyam.
Anyam
Other.
other,
Kam.
Kam
Who.
who,
Who else?
who else,
Va.
Va
Certainly.
certainly,
Dalayam.
Dalayam
Merciful.
merciful,
Sharanam.
Saranam
Shelter.
shelter,
Rajema.
Rajena
Shall I take?
shall I take,
Please repeat. Translation. Alas,
alas,
how shall I take shelter of one more merciful than he? How shall I take shelter of one more merciful than he,
How shall I take shelter of one more merciful than he,
who has granted the position of mother to a she-demon,
who is granted the position of mother to a she-demon,
Putana?
Putana.
Although she was unfaithful,
Although she was unfaithful,
and she prepared deadly poison
and she prepared deadly poison
to be sucked from her breast.
to be
Question.
sucked from her breast.
So I'll just repeat that. Alas, how shall I take shelter of one more merciful than he who granted the position of mother to a she-demon, Putana, although she was unfaithful, and she prepared deadly poison to be sucked from her breast. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Here is an example. Purport by His Divine Grace. Hey, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. There is an example of the extreme mercy of the Lord. Here is an example of the extreme mercy of the Lord, even to his enemy. It is said that a noble man accepts the good qualities of a person of doubtful character, just as one accepts nectar from a stalk of poison. In his babyhood, he was administered deadly poison by Putana, a she-demon who tried to kill the wonderful baby. And because she was a demon, it was impossible for her to know that the Supreme Lord, even though playing the part of a baby, was no one less than the same Supreme Personality of Godhead. His value as the Supreme Lord did not diminish upon his becoming a baby to please his devotee Jasoda. Somebody turned the microphone down, I think. The Lord may assume the form of a baby.
It's on.
Yeah, it's on, but it's just somebody turned it down. If it could be turned up just a tad, it's a hair. You know, I can stay back here and not have to be so close to it like that, you know. I don't want to blow y'all out or anything. But it's easier if I can sit like this, and, you know. And because she was a demon, it was impossible for her to know that the Supreme Lord, even though playing the part of a baby, was no one less than the same Supreme Personality of Godhead. His value as the Supreme Lord did not diminish upon his becoming a baby to please his devotee Jasoda. The Lord may assume the form of a baby or a shape other than that of a human being, but it doesn't make the slightest difference. He is always the same Supreme. A living creature, however powerful he may become by dint of severe penance, can never be equal to the Supreme Lord. Lord Krishna accepted the motherhood of Putana because she pretended to be an affectionate mother, allowing Krishna to suck her breast. The Lord accepts the least qualification of the living entity and awards him the highest reward. That is the standard of his character. Therefore, who but the Lord can be the ultimate shelter? Translation. Alas, how shall I take shelter of one more merciful than he, who granted the position of mother to a she-demon, Putana, although she was unfaithful, and she prepared deadly poison to be sucked from her breast. So, Prabhupada says, mercy really depends on, the person, really. And Prabhupada says, I can be merciful to somebody, or I can be very strict. It just depends on the person. And Krishna is the divine person, so he can be merciful to us, or he can be very strict, He's the most merciful, and at the same time, he's also the most, I don't know the exact word he used, but he can be very strict, like, I don't know if he used the word cruelest, but he is the most of everything, the most merciful and kind, but at the same time, when devastation comes, he said even children, women, everyone, that's finished. So, that's amazing. Krishna's amazing. He's the most of, if you just imagine that the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the amount of, the blood that was on that battlefield, must have been just inconceivable, And yet, he did it for, relieving we should call them phalanxes or whatever, the overburdened military phalanxes, burdening Mother Earth. So he came, ultimately everything Krishna does, just like Prabhupada said, you should know that everything I do is perfect. Prabhupada said. Because for one thing, Prabhupada said, I always ask Krishna, I always consult Krishna, about everything. So even though we may not understand it, but so much focus is put upon worshiping our spiritual master. For instance, the very first verse, in the morning, during Mangalarti, the spiritual master is receiving benediction from the ocean of mercy, just as a cloud pours water on a forest fire to extinguish it. So the spiritual master delivers the materially afflicted world by extinguishing a blazing fire of material existence. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of such a spiritual master, who is an ocean of auspicious qualities. And the very last verse also, by the mercy of the spiritual master, one receives the benediction of Krishna. Without the grace of the spiritual master, one cannot make any advancement. Therefore, I should always remember and praise the spiritual master. At least 3 times a day, I should offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master. I do have one question, and maybe Goka Ranjan could remember this, but there was one disciple that said, Srila Prabhupada, can you give me a benediction that I may find a spiritual master? And he was already initiated, Do you all recall that? Do you all remember what that was?
Yeah.
You remember that, though, huh?
Yeah, no, I'm going to say.
And do you remember what Prabhupada said?
Well, there was
several-
several.
You have my blessing. And then, do you remember what he said after that? Okay, because I don't want to say, it's been so long since I've heard it, but I think I know what he said. But you have my blessing. I don't want to repeat it because I know exactly, but I haven't heard it in so long. But I think I know what he said after that. But you have my blessing. So,
Well, one person said, I know for a fact, he said, I bless that you can make lots of money and enjoy sense gratification as much as you want.
yeah. I have a little story.
There's another one. seemed very severe to us because the Chaitanya Charitamrita hadn't come out yet. And then we realized that it was actually very merciful. This particular devotee asked for blessings to find another spiritual master. And Prabhupada said, yes, well, first of all, he says, what kind of foolish thing is that to ask me? You're, saying, what? You're saying I'm not qualified, but you think I'm qualified to bless you? But I'll tell you this, that I bless that you not take birth again for another human birth, for another 700,000 lifetimes.
Yeah, there was something really severe like that.
But it was a similar pastime with
Yeah.
Chaitanya.
Right.
And the devotee got the benediction that he wouldn't take a human birth or have the association with Lord Chaitanya again for 1.4 million births. And that devotee thought, oh, this is ecstatic, because now I know I'm going to be with Lord Chaitanya again. But so everyone thought 700,000. No one expected Prabhupada to be that intense. And the situation is a lot more complicated than this. But we realized that actually it was a very similar offense committed by both persons in the Chaitanya Charitamrita and Prabhupada Lila, but Prabhupada gave half the punishment.
Yeah. You know, what's so interesting is that, believe it or not, this moment here we have right now, and the very next moment, and a moment after that, and tomorrow, and all our tomorrows. But even in just a moment, I could offend a devotee. And that's scary. That's really scary, because after that, the repercussions, can be so, got chills just thinking about that. Every moment we're held accountable. Prabhupada said, in the animal species, still there's rectification going on. They don't get karma, but there's still rectification going on over in those lifetimes, gradual rectification, going on. And that's why we're in the mature world, to be rectified. To rectify, it takes so long, millions of births, unless you get the mercy of a pure devotee, millions of births, millions of lifetimes. But so, we should know that we're just so blessed. Oh, I have to share this with you. I just realized yesterday, I saw it again online. About 8 or 9 years ago, I saw this, but I had forgotten about it. But George Harrison meant so much to me, right? I never got to meet him. But I always, as most devotees, we have a connection with him, we feel, But I was reminded just yesterday online that we share the same birthday. I said, well, I was in LA. I was like, I'm just a little low devotee. But if I had hooked up with Shyam Sundar, maybe, and told him, I would really like to meet him, even just 5 minutes or 1 minute, and, we share the same birthday. That's something. That's something. Because I really thought I got no qualification whatsoever. I don't even know Shyam Sundar or Guru Das at the time. I didn't know, But I was living in LA. Yeah, it was like 7 years, I guess, And so that was a long time not to meet him, But like I said, but anyway.
What can I just say about the animals? Gopal Krishna, he wasn't a sannyasi at the time, he was married. He asked Prabhupada, what happens if you give a dog prasad? He says he skips over all the other animal species and goes straight to the human birth next. What happens if you give it Maha prasad? He said, he goes back about it.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't commit any sin.
I like to tell, I wish I had remembered that last night probably. It's just like it's like you're sensing what I'm going to talk about next. It's so funny because I want to share something with y'all. I like to share Sankirtan stories. This happened just yesterday. Yesterday evening, we pulled up to get gas in the van, and Fit moves really slow. And everybody in the world gathers around the door. They see him coming a mile away, and they're ready to open the door for him. So there's a lady that was coming in, and she didn't see that I was already going to open the door for him, And she's, oh, you got it, okay. And she had like tattoos, young lady. She was smiling, and I thought, and I told Fayette later, I said, she just because she was willing to open the door for you, I'm sure you're considered a devotee, that would be a gyata sukriti, unknowingly she got spiritual benefit, And the funny thing is, she came back out, was getting in her vehicle, a big Suburban, whatever. And when Fayette came back out, he said, Fayette, look over there. Because there's a big pit bull sitting in a driver's seat looking at Fayette. Just like a human being. I said, look, he's driving that vehicle over there, we're joking around. And so he went back to the van, and I said, this lady that was trying to open the door for you, to security, like that. And then I was fixing to pump the gas. Super Soul tells you things. You just have to listen, We just have to listen, like who to preach to. And she was already in her vehicle. She should have driven off. And I thought, I was trying to pump the gas, and then I thought, let me just go over there and talk to her. Because the funny thing is, she got in her vehicle, and she told her dog, scoot over, scoot over like a human being. I looked over there around the pump, and I thought, yeah, she got in that vehicle, and she's talking to the dog, So anyway, I said, I'm going to go over there and give her a card for the farm, at least. And I went over there and, away from the vehicles in case he started trying to attack. And I wish I had recorded this. I thought later, I wish I had recorded this. This is so beautiful. Unbelievable. Because it has to do with animals. And I started talking to her, are you into yoga, stuff like that? And she says, well, I'm from Maine, and I came down here with a guy, he dumped me, and now I'm trying to get back to Maine, And I started talking to her, and I said, that's an amazing dog you got there. I said, here's a card for the farm. And we started talking about animals, and I said, animals have a soul. Same kind of soul you've got, it's not such a thing as animal soul, human soul. And she said, I've always believed that, I'm Catholic, but I've just always believed that there's a lot more to animals, like maybe they have a soul, And I started telling her about that story. There's two ladies from Miami, they went over there to Paris,
Right.
And then the two guys were following them, it was really scary.
Yeah.
They came to the temple in Paris, and then the door opens to the temple, Indraduma Swami was there, and he wasn't a Swami at the time, he was dressed in white, and he looked like an angel, they said, and all this incense is coming out, and the guys, these two big guys that have been following for a long time, behind, scary, and they said, can we come into the temple, we're being followed and stuff like that, and he said, sure, come on in, and she said the doors closed, and it was like, all that danger was gone, and they said, like, Indraduma looked like an angel, and she was talking about how the nuns and everybody told her that animals don't have souls, and she always thought that wasn't very fair. I was telling her this story, and she started getting tears in her eyes. She said, I've always believed that, And I said, wow. I mean, she got tears in her eyes a couple times, And I should have told her at the same time, those ladies also said during the course of what they were hearing in class and everything at the temple that, I don't know if I really want to get involved in this because this sounds like the truth. and they were crying when she was thinking like that. And that's what she was doing. Telling her the story, and she's really appreciating the story. Anyway, so she was really fired up about trying to come out here, And I said, there's a lot of Mataji's out there that'll talk to you also, That means women in the movement, And I told her some nice things,
Well, the part of that story, the most important part, is that she kept she was telling the story. She said, that she sort of left the Catholic Church because this concept that animals don't have souls. She just couldn't, it doesn't seem right. So then, she said, if I ever hear something, then I have to take it. And so then, Prabhupada actually had come there. They were there when Prabhupada was there. And he was preaching to a very famous cardinal.
Richelieu.
Yeah. So, and his brother is a famous Shiva, actually. It's really strange. He writes books about Lord Shiva and everything. But in that conversation with Prabhupada was saying about, well, what do you eat meat? Because you're following the Ten Commandments. You're going to be a bona fide Christian. Prabhupada's whole point was, we don't want to be charlatan. We want, if you're going to follow the path, follow it correctly. So, and he said, well, yes, I do. He said, well, then you're breaking the commandments. He said, no, they don't have souls.
Yeah.
And Prabhupada said, yes, they do have souls. And as soon as Prabhupada, that young woman heard, Prabhupada said that animals have souls, she couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
That someone was saying that. A spiritual person was saying that animals have souls. She knew she was stuck because that's what she had always said. If I could find some, then that's what I have to accept.
Well, the amazing thing is about this dog is that he's so big, he's sitting right beside her, that he kept looking at me. He's right there. I was like, film this. But what I'm telling you, she said that she saved him, a rescue dog.
Oh, really?
But the main part about this dog was, the whole time I was looking at him, he's looking at me. But guess what? The whole time he had his leash in his mouth, like he's offering it. And she said that's what he does. He picks up anything. And the whole time we were talking, he had the leash. He kept picking up and sitting down, picking back up again. See, he wants to offer you something because he was used to getting beaten, and he wants to like supplicate. You know, wolves will do that too. They lay on their backs, show their belly, the part that you don't show, the organs. You know, vulnerable. That's right. Yeah. And anyway, so I want to tell y'all about a restaurant that's opening. Today's a soft opening. And I don't know if you remember the couple, Megan, and I think she has a boyfriend named Josh. They're opening a new restaurant, and I just checked it out yesterday. It's very nice.
Where is it?
Across from the post office. Those two little brick buildings.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was thinking, maybe I should go down and show them how to make,
what are they selling?
not samosas, but the, you dip it in the chutney,
Cora?
like we make at the music festivals. Not pakoras, but are they samosas, aren't they? Yeah. The triangular shaped samosas. Yeah.
What are they selling?
It's very interesting because they're selling some interesting things. There's an ice cream area where they cook the waffles, and they put ice cream in the cone. They actually cook the waffles, put ice cream in there, and then they have a whole tea area out front, all kinds of teas. And then they have an eating area. They have a kitchen, and it's all very nicely, very nice. I was surprised. Probably the nicest decor in.
Vegetarian?
I'm sorry.
Vegetarian.
Yeah, she was talking about vegan, and I don't see any meat there. So
But you're talking about the buildings that were like a health food store and beauty
across
salon?
from the post office, remember I told you about that brick building?
Yeah.
The one was Hot Wings, I think, and the other one was an accountant, I think,
Yeah.
right across from the post office.
Wow.
And I said, I can't believe you guys did that. I cursed that building because that's the building that blocked my view of that meth head lady that ran the red light and totaled my car. I said, oh no. She said, I said, don't worry, I'll be praying for y'all for success, But I was just thinking, it might be a fun way to distribute prasadam through there. They love prasadam, And they've been cooking from our cookbooks, whenever they can. They love olive and stuff. And they would come out here more often, but they've been really busy fixing up that restaurant. How
This is a really
restaurants are.
big venture to do now at this time.
That's what I told them. I said, but they know lots of people. They'll probably have a lot of regulars, And they have the tea. I remember eating it. It's called boba. It's called the melt and something and the boba. Boba is something y'all might know about. It's Oriental, I think. And you put it in the tea. You pour the tea over, I guess. And then those little bitty bubbles, like maybe it looks like caviar, I don't know. But anyway, when you start to drink it, when they start to bubble, and then when it gets in your mouth, they bust open into fruity flavors.
Huh.
You know about that? Boba? Boba?
Yeah, I've had it in Hawaii.
Boba?
Yeah.
It's called boba, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. In Hawaii.
It reminds me a little of tapioca.
Yeah, it looks like tapioca.
And they're like really big and round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
I have a
It's
couple of
fascinating,
I have a couple of things I want to share because I
Yeah, yes, Margie.
Did you say just now Shamashunda Prabhu's birthday is yours or George?
No, George Harrison, yeah.
Well, you said Shamashunda Prabhu.
Yeah, because if I hooked up with Shyam Sundar in L.A.,
Yeah.
maybe I could have actually got the chance to meet him.
No, something just came up and we just had that hurricane. Really a very bad wind, like 100 miles or 75 miles, I don't know. I had a phone call from Shamashunda Prabhu's secretary or something. And it's like heavy out here, they don't know. And he's collecting donation for some books he's printing that got burned. Do you know about this?
The what?
His little book library got burned. Did you know about this?
His library got burned?
Burned.
No, I didn't know.
He's doing a new book, and they are collecting donations. And she's calling me right in the middle when the hurricane is going on.
Wow.
Right at that moment, and I'm trying to run out because we usually go out when it's like heavy rain like that, you know, wind to come see the deities. My husband is already running, and I need to go, but she's calling me right at that moment for donation, you know.
Oh, wow.
It was strange.
Oh, asking for donation.
Yeah, at that moment, and she don't know that we are going through such a bad situation.
Oh, the other thing I was going to tell you was that I went all the way from preaching to the financial loan officer at Keesler, and he kept asking all these questions. You know, and then to talk to her later in the evening, I said all the way from, you know, bank, and her situation's not so good, you know, all the way from the guy who's really successful, obviously, seems like, all the way to, you know, she was basically needing help too, I think, you know. Sounds like it's not such a good situation, you know.
Look like you preach a lot in Picayune because I hear that.
I just preach wherever I go.
That girl Emily in that little.
Can you imagine what it's like now without a vehicle? I mean, I just preach
You remember
wherever I go. I just have to preach. You know?
every time I go there, she talks about you.
There was this woman that came